Now, the problem that we're going to address here is the following, alright? Are you someone who has a goal, but you just always stop midway while pursuing it? Or maybe perhaps you have a plan that you want to follow through, but you just can't seem to follow through on it. So in this video, we are going to address it all. If you also are interested to work with me after the video, feel free to stick to the very end where I'll be explaining how you can do so and so forth. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Now, first thing you have to understand, when you start something, there's always gonna be resistance. And what I mean by resistance is the feeling of not wanting to do the work, or feeling of not wanting to continue the work. So for example, it's like you don't feel motivated when, there are days where you feel anxious, you feel lazy, you just don't want to do it. Or there are days where you feel really doubtful, is this gonna work or not? That's the feeling of resistance. Now, the most common mistake people make when encountering resistance, alright, and that's also the root cause in a way of their resistance most of the time, is high expectations. No, not high expectations, sorry. Unrealistic expectations. And another mistake is doing too much. Okay, so what do you mean by, unrealistic expectations, right? Let's say you're on a roller coaster, right? It's said that it's gonna be the scariest, most awesome, most terrifying, but amazingly fast roller coaster. And then you have this expectation, wow, it's gonna be a blast. Oh my god, I feel so scared. What if, this happened, that happened, what if it fails, and so on. But then you go on the roller coaster, right? And you go and you finally go to the top, go down, go upside down and everything. And then you get off the roller coaster, it's actually quite okay. I mean, I don't find it that bad or whatsoever. But that point, before you ride the roller coaster, you had expectations of how it should be, how it's gonna turn out, and so on, alright? Unrealistic expectations is where you have, unrealistic ideals of how achieving your goals is gonna feel like, or basically how soon that you can see the outcome of your efforts when pursuing that goal of yours. So, most people, I've been training clients for a very long time. The problem that I most often see people have is they think that their goals can be achieved fast. Or maybe they think that things will be actually quite easy, things will be smooth sailing. Or they think that, they don't need to put in as much effort into something and then they can see the results fast. That's what unrealistic expectations is. Another form of unrealistic expectations is basically on yourself. Expecting you to perform things perfectly on the first try. Expecting yourself, that you probably won't fail. You probably can muscle away through the goal without facing any hardships, any pain, any, resistance in a way. You think you expect things to go smooth sailing. And then when it doesn't happen, you feel discouraged. And then what happens is you give up. So that's what I mean by unrealistic expectations, right? Now, the other side of the coin is actually doing too much. And that's where you overestimate how much it takes to achieve that goal. So a common thing when it comes to fitness is people think that you have to do a lot of exercises, you have to exercise every single day, you have to cut a lot of food in order to lose weight. But they end up not losing weight, or they end up not seeing results from their efforts. I mean, they're working out 6 days per week, they are eating 1,200 calories, but they are not losing weight. What's going on there? The thing here is you're doing too much. And by doing too much, you end up, not accomplishing that much. Like, think about it also this way, all right? Imagine like a fine dining restaurant. They have like amazing risotto, amazing beef, but then all the portion size there is like freaking huge, or it's like crazy. It probably can feed like 2 or 3 people per platter. Will that be actually appealing? Well, maybe for like people with humongous appetite, it might. But by eating too much, it actually tastes not that good. That goes to say also that, quality matters over quantity. When it comes to like achieving your goals, you don't need to do a lot. In fact, sometimes doing too much can harm you because it can be a discipline problem. You won't feel like doing the work. You put in like half-assed effort. You won't spend the time to reflect on what you could do better because you're all the time busy just doing the work, not taking the time to understand, maybe there's an efficient way of doing things. Like, there's so many problems that come from doing too much. Like, even sleeping too much is a problem. Sleeping too little is a problem. So anything in excess is not a good thing. And I'm going to explain to you a fine line of how much action you should take at the next point later. So, the more you idolize, right? The more you idolize your goals, right? And the more you overcomplicate, the process, the harder it is to follow through. Like, the first step in pursuing any endeavor is you have to start. But if you overcomplicate the process, what's the chances of you likely to stick to the actions that you need to take? Like 1 week from now, 1 month from now, 1 year from now? Possibly very slim. And then when you idolize your goal, you are afraid of failing. Like, another mistake is people attach their goals to their self-esteem. Like, oh my God, if I don't achieve my goal, what my parents think of me, what my friends think of me, what would it say about me, I'm a failure, I'm not good enough. They idolize their goal. So they want to do everything perfect. They don't want to make mistakes. They don't want to face failure or rejections. And they end up taking suboptimal actions because, in order for you to improve or get better, you have to directly face failure sometimes because that's a testament of, your current capabilities, and that exposes what you need to improve or who do you need to become further than who you are right now in order to achieve that goal. So if you idolize your goal, you're more afraid to fail. And also, you probably will have, like what I mentioned, unrealistic expectations. All right, things will like move smooth sailing and everything, right? So if you realize that you're making those mistakes, that's probably the reason why you aren't able to stick to your goals. All right? Have you noticed yourself like reading books all the time, like preparation after whatever, studying, and you just can't seem to follow through on like the actions that you need to take? Like, I used to be the person that spends 1 week just creating a sales script and being terrified talking to even a single prospect. Even if I do, things will be imperfect, I'll beat myself up, and then I end up not sticking true on my goals. I end up giving up. So avoid the pitfalls as best as you can. But now, I'm going to give you the solution. Key number 1, have high expectations for the future and low expectations for the present. You have to embrace the idea that you won't feel perfect. Whenever you start something, things will go wrong, things won't go as planned, you'll realize your flaws and everything. But basically, by experiencing all of those things which we call failure, rejection, imperfection, it's basically a reflection of who you are right now. And that would unveil a path of who you need to become in order to achieve the goal. So instead of constantly avoiding imperfections, relentlessly pursue it so that you can actually reach your goal, if you get what I mean. And that also means, you have to have expectations, as in you have to have this belief, this faith, that over the long term, without a doubt, I will achieve this goal, but maybe in the present, I won't achieve it now. And that means I have to be a bit more patient with myself. I have to be a bit easier on myself, not put too much pressure in order to achieve it now. Instead, I'm going to take this as a learning lesson, Maybe I might not accomplish what I want for today or this week, but I'm going to take it as a learning lesson, in order to grow and to be finally able to do the things that I have to do smoothly. For example, like making this video, alright? The first time doing it is actually quite uncomfortable. Like, in fact, there's a lot of preparations involved. And I did not expect how time-consuming the process of creating this video actually is. But instead of beating myself up like, oh my god, like this YouTuber can do it like very fast, like I wonder how can this be easy and so on, embrace that it's currently hard. Like embrace that it's gonna take some time creating this video, for example. And then, that's reality. Like maybe it might be easy for others, but it's not easy for me. And instead of fighting that fact, I embrace the fact that it's hard for me right now. But it doesn't mean that it'll be hard in the future. So high expectations, low expectations for the present, right? High expectations for your future. Second key, focus on getting to your first milestone. So if you break your goals down into smaller chunks, all right, I want to achieve $10,000 per month by the end of the year. For example, right, what do I need to do in order to achieve $10,000 per month? Well, probably I need to get like 5 clients, for example, Alright. So basically, in order for, to get 10,000 per month, for example, you need 5 clients. But, you are not getting any client right now. So you're going to break it down. Okay, at least let's try to aim for 1 client first. Right? 1 client, and then I'm happy. That's the first milestone. It can go for any goal, like learning your first language. Okay, my first goal, like when I learn a new language, is I'm going to learn at least 3 sentences, alright? 3 common sentences. That's my first goal. And being able to say it fluently. That's the first milestone. Instead of getting overwhelmed, alright? The reason why people can't stick to their goals is because they get overwhelmed by the work that they have to do and also by their goals. So in order for you to not overwhelm yourself, focus on getting the first milestone. Key number 3, have no more than 3 actions that you're focusing on for a given day. And that also can be for a given week, like 3 things that I want to accomplish for this week. And 3 actions that I need to take today. No more than that. If that is, if the requirements is lesser than 3, then by all means, great. If not, just focus on 3 actions, alright? Like when it comes to creating this video, number 1 is creating an outline. Number 2 is trying to talk on camera as best as I can. And number 3 is editing the video and posting it. Just 3 actions. Don't place so much pressure on yourself by you say I have to do this, I have to do that. When I'm talking on the video, it has to be perfect, blah blah blah. Just focus on doing those 3 actions, alright? Which leads me to my 4th point. Be perfect with the doing of that action, but carefree about the outcome. We can't control what happens in between as much as, you like things to be, to be great. Like, you want that sales calls to be great, or you want the, like let's say if you're practicing basketball, you want the practice to be great. You sometimes can't control it because you just start out. So by being perfect at doing, as in being perfect with showing up, doing the work you have to do despite being imperfect, you achieve the goal. And that means over time, as you allow yourself to keep showing up, you will also get, better at the action of doing the things that you need to do to achieve that goal in the long run. So be perfect with the doing, all right? Doing those 3 things that you have to do for the day. Be perfect in actually showing up and doing it. That's what I mean by doing it perfect. But carefree about the outcome for the particular day. If the outcome of the particular day is a bit shitty, that's okay. As long as I'm perfect with doing the 3 things that I'm supposed to do for that day. Alright? Just to recap, alright? Whenever you start a goal, there's always going to be resistance. Resistance in the form of not feeling motivated to do the work and not feeling motivated to continue to do the work. And that can come in many forms. I'm sure you can give some examples for yourself, like fear, doubt, anxiety, laziness, you name it. Just got to identify it and push through it. The common mistakes people normally make, alright, is they put their goals on a pedestal, alright? They like, they see their goal as, wow, this is like a grand thing, like it's going to be like so hard to achieve it, and then they end up like doing too much and then they don't achieve it. Instead of seeing the goal for what it is, simplifying it and allow themselves to incrementally reach the goal, alright? And then, people have too much high, like unrealistic expectations on themselves or on the process. They think that, like it's going to be smooth sailing. So when it's hard, they end up saying, why is it not like that? Why is it like not easy as what I think? Instead of accepting reality as it is, that's going to be hard. And embracing the hardness and learning from it. Instead, they fight that, oh, this should be like that way. This should be like easy. This should be like, possible for me, but it's not embracing things realistically. And also, putting too much pressure on yourself to do things perfectly all the time. And, being attached to that. All right. Now, solution here, have high expectations for your future, being confident that you can achieve it long term. But in the short term, that it's going to be a lot of work. I mean, it's going to take some time for you to improve. And it will take some time for you to get used to the actions required to achieve that goal. Focus on getting your first milestone, all right? Instead of focusing on achieving that large goal soon, focusing on achieving the first step is even more important, all right? Because as you do the things that you need to do, you achieve some wins. And by setting expectations low, you slowly celebrate the wins, which will propel you to do bigger and bigger things. And eventually you end up reaching to that goal that you want to achieve. Have no more than 3 actions for a given day. All right? Discipline yourself with doing less. If you can't commit with doing less, you probably can't commit with doing more. Be perfect with the doing of the action, but carefree about the outcome of that action. All right? Release attachment to the outcome, just focusing on doing the work the best that you possibly can. So, that's it for today's video. If you like this video, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel for more self-improvement topics like this. I'll do my best to help you out to achieve your goals. And at the same time, if you personally want me to coach you, all right, if you're someone who feel like you're not confident with pursuing what you want, or you're having some hardships, or you feel like there's always something that's self-sabotaging you with your efforts, and you want to feel unstoppable, you would like me to help you with your mindset and strategies on how you can achieve your goals better, click the link below to schedule a call with me, and I'll try my best to help you out. And that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.